If you have a laser cutter, or sometimes more helpfully, a friend who has a laser cutter, then you're going to love this video. I'm going to show you how you can make your own laser cut baubles for your Christmas tree, from where to find some files to how to edit the shapes or how to add personalized names as well. And this video is extra special because I'm doing a collaboration with Sarah from Birds of a Feather and Carol from The Stylish Maker, who are going to be doing their own Christmas projects too. With Sarah, you can find out how to make delicious looking reindeer ice cream sandwiches. And with Carol, you can learn about how to make jewellery suitable for ugly sweaters. So check out their videos after this one too. So where do we start with getting good design files? Personally, I like Creative Fabrica, but you could also buy files on Etsy. So first things first, grab your laptop or computer and go to Creative Fabrica. Creative Fabrica, if you're not familiar, is a website full of design files. And one of the best things about Creative Fabrica is you can take these files, make products with them and sell them yourself, which is something that you don't get as often with files like on Etsy. I'm going to quickly show you how I made this, just so you can see how easily this comes together. I first of all found a file that had loads of different snowflake designs in it. The one I used to make my bauble was one that was not so ornate that it would have lots of tiny details to cut out, had slightly thicker lines, so it would be more stable by being attached to the bauble. Now that you've got your laser files, take them into your cutting software. For me, that's Xtool Creative Space, and this is where you can play around and adapt the shapes so that it fits what you are after, or personalizing it by adding in names and things like that. To build your bauble shape, simply have two circles, one slightly bigger than the other, maybe about 2 centimeters or 1 inch bigger. That gives you the outer ring of the bauble. It wants to be thick enough that it's stable and not likely to snap easily. And then also add a circle at the top as a holder for the string or ribbon or however you're going to attach it to the tree. To join the smaller circle up with the bigger circle, you're simply using the unite function in this tool. Now we've got our bauble shape. I duplicated this so I've got my front piece and my back piece. All you need to know is where to position the snowflakes and how to attach them so that it combines with the outer ring. It's helpful to have both the front and back visible at the same time because you want to make sure that you're not overlapping your snowflakes or your images unless you want to. Simply place the snowflake where you want it to sit within the bauble. Select both the snowflake and the inner edge of the bauble ring, press subtract, and that creates that snowflake shape that is embedded into the outer ring, so that will cut out as one piece. You do want a decent amount of the design to overlap with the bauble ring, because if it's just a small portion that attaches, that is going to make it a weak joint and there is a greater chance of it snapping. And once you've got them lined up how you like, it's a good idea to drag the second template over the top of the first one to make sure it is lining up how you would like it to. And here's how to customize a shape to exactly how you want it. As I import it into my bauble shape, you'll see that it attaches at one side but not the other. And to make this as stable as possible, I want as many connection points as possible whilst not losing the overall look of the tree that I want. So how you can customize it to make it fit for the shape that you want is to edit the nodes. So what that does is it brings up all the different tiny lines on the tree, and you can add more nodes, you can take them away, and you can move them. And this is what you're going to do to change the tree shape slightly so that it connects to that ring. This is a great way of being able to add a bit more originality to your design by being able to customize it however you like. And finally, how to personalize a bauble. If you were to simply write a name in a pretty typeface, it would potentially be very thin and likely to break. So one of the best things you can do here is create a background around your name for the name to sit on top of to give it some stability. I changed my name into the font Pistachio. This was also downloaded from Creative Fabrica, and you can see it's much more pretty elegant typeface than the standard system font. First things first, give it as much overlap as possible with the bauble ring. Secondly, weld the letters together. This removes the separation between them so that it cuts as one whole piece. And lastly, outline the name. The thicker the outline you give it, the larger the background is. Attach the outline to the outer bauble, again by using the subtract tool. That will cut as one piece. Cut the name separately and glue it on top. Then you've got a more secure way of attaching a thin and delicate name to a pretty bauble. And time for cutting. So how did we do? Well, the present on the left and the tree on the left did not cut out entirely. Even if you know your cut settings, some things you can't account for. And in this case, because they didn't cut both down that same side of the wood, there's a good chance that there was something up with the glue in that wood, or potentially the wood was a little bit warped. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Here is 3 of the designs and how they stack to make a double layered bauble. So we've got snowflakes, we've got presents, and we've got pretty trees. So you've got your laser cut and you may be familiar with this dark outline. This is going to come off on your finger, so it needs to go. But fortunately, there's a pretty easy way of doing that. Thankfully, the soot comes off really easily with this white vinegar. A bonus of this is that it also reduces the smell that you get after cutting. The smell does subside over time, but this is a way to knock it back quicker. Sealing it with varnish also does that job too. So you've got your laser cut baubles. What do you do next? Well, for me, I've got a white and gold tree, so I'm going to add some white and gold embellishments just to make it a little bit sparkly and more festive. As is standard process by now, you can decorate however you like. I am going for some white snowy trees with this one. You really can't go wrong. You could either do touches of colour, completely colour them in, or even add a coloured paper or card to the back of the entire bauble to give it a completely different look. So let's just enjoy watching a little bit of painting for a minute. So just with the painting, you can add glitter sparingly or less sparingly, as I might be inclined to do. I simply used some white glue. So for this snowflake, I coated it with the glitter, but equally you can add glitter accents to the end of the snowflakes. Just do the center. There's a lot of flexibility in how you can decorate even the simplest of designs. This gingerbread person was actually a bit of a mistake on my part. That triangle under the gingerbread man I was supposed to cut out. Instead, I accidentally set my machine to score. So that's simply a line and not a hole. But you know, instead of wasting the wood to cut it again, I'm just gonna make it sit on a little glitter mound now. This Christmas pud I just had to share with you despite it not following the same style as the others because it is just too adorable not to show you. So these lines are score lines, which in fact is actually really helpful for working out where to paint or where to add glue. Especially if you're not the best artist, This gives you a good guide for where to add your embellishments. Now you don't have to do as much glitter as I did on this Christmas pud, but it does look pretty fabulous. Then to attach your two bauble rings together, you can either use PVA glue as I'm using, or white glue, or you can use a glue gun to have a secure attachment between the two rings. But this is very thin wood, very light, so you actually don't need a strong glue. And partner up all your back pieces and front pieces and create the most adorable set of Christmas ornaments. You would not believe that this was the extent of the twine that I was able to find this year. I don't know if there is a shortage of twine this year, but we're going to try and make this last. These would also look really lovely with maybe some silky or velvety red or gold ribbon. Red would really contrast with the gold and white and the green of the tree. Twine makes it blend in a little bit more, so the focus is on the bauble. So how easy was that to make some really simple but beautiful laser cut Christmas ornaments for your tree? As you can see, there are so many design choices, ones you can get creative with. Either keep the shapes as they are, adapt them so they fit better, or personalize them with names. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed learning how to personalize some laser cut ornaments. If you found it useful, please consider subscribing. It makes a huge difference to smaller channels like mine. And next up, please check out Carol from the Stylish Makers videos, or Sarah from Birds of a Feather, and see how they're crafting for Christmas too. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye.